here I want to share. First, let's talk about. Now, look, I know it's tempting for people to want to give Dan time, and I think that you're a better person than I am if you do. I have just, you know, if you're like I got nothing against Dan. I just think he jumped right into the deep end, and he was not prepared for just how corrupt it was. Um, he did share this, which I thought was kind of weird. That he found hidden evidence.
Wait till you read the stuff that's coming out.
Does he still? But this,
By the way, enough talking about stuff that's coming out. All right, enough. I don't want to hear it. And I feel like I'm back on my old job. Don't bring me problems. I don't even want to hear there's a problem until you have a solution. Like, don't tell me you're going to be releasing stuff. Pam Bondi has a quote unquote truckload of files that has now gone completely. Nobody talks about that anymore. But anyway, I'll
does
shut
he
up.
still have loyalists in the building? Because when I hear the FBI director saying, you guys are finding boxes that are hidden, okay, how does that happen in the Bureau?
Well, we were there a couple of weeks, and luckily there were a lot of people up there who grabbed us by the arm the minute we came in and said, thank you for being here.
That's what they said.
But
You
that
know,
also
we
means
need
there's
to
a
talk.
collection that didn't say that, right?
Right. Or it means, thank you for being here. Look in this folder. Oh, is that why do you have a picture of my wife and, oh, okay.
There are people there who are really horrified at what happened. And there was a room, and we found stuff, a lot of
A
stuff.
hidden room.
I wouldn't call it hidden, but hidden from us at least, and not mentioned to us. And then we found stuff in there, and a lot of it's from the Comey era. And we are working our damnedest right now to declassify. And just so you know, because I get the public, I totally understand people saying, well, do it now. The process is not all the information is ours to declassify. Some is other intelligence agencies. It's not, we literally can't do it. Once that gets done and that gets out there and you read some of the stuff we found that, by the way, was not processed through the normal procedure, digitizing it, putting in FBI records. We found it in bags, hiding under Jim Comey's
really quickly,
FBI. You're going to be
The
stunned.
shells.
I mean,
So is
I'm
he just shifting blame to John Ratcliffe, the CIA director, or
yeah,
like when
I
he
think,
says it's other intelligence agencies, is he basically trying to say like, oh, my hands are tied, I can't do anything, even though I promised you I would do something?
well, he's also saying this.
Those two cases obviously are of significant public interest.
He's talking about he's talking about Jeffrey's case for sure. I don't know what other case he might be talking about. The probably the Butler attempt on Trump's life.
I'm just telling you what we see in the file. I just want to be crystal clear on this. I am not asking anyone to believe me. I'm telling you what's there and what isn't.
Right.
There is nothing in the file at this point on the Epstein case, and there's going to be a disclosure on this coming shortly. We are working through there is video. That is something the public does
There's
not
video of him killing himself.
No, not the actual act, but the entire MCC Bay. It was only one camera. There were other. There's video that when you look at the video, and we will release. That's what's taken a while on this. We are working on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced, and we're going to give you
Enhanced, yeah.
The AI is working on it.
Yeah, AI is currently working on it.
original, so you don't think there were any shenanigans. You're going to see there's no one there but him.
Right.
There's just nobody there. So I say to people all the time, if you have a tip, let us know. But there's no DNA, there's no audio, there's no fingerprints, there's no suspects, there's no accomplices, there's no tips, there is nothing. If you have it, I'm happy to see it.
Well, isn't your agency supposed to be the one that has that? Why am I supposed to have that? What do you make of this? I'll go to Melonie and then Hannah Claire.
I think that the FBI in general, it's just so corrupt that there was nobody who's going to be able to give us the answers that we want and the truth, because they're going to expose a lot that's going on. So with this whole thing with the Epstein thing, I don't think we're ever going to really get the full story of that, because it's a big cover up, and there's no telling where that rabbit hole actually goes.
Yeah, it's possible nothing does exist. It is, you know.
Yeah.
What do you think, Hannah Claire?
I mean, what kind of nothing are we talking about? He's saying there's like rooms at FBI headquarters where stuff is being concealed, maybe not hidden, but it's not being brought out readily. But then also being like, there's nothing. Maybe you should just release the report where you investigated these things, because with Epstein and it's, you know, it's not my area of expertise, but there were questions about what the guards were up to, why the cameras failed. Like, why don't you just release all of the evidence that you have proving that none of that was nefarious? Is that what you mean by nothing? Or do you mean that there's literally no case file because no investigation was done? Because that seems sketchier to me.
Yeah. I mean, that seems more likely. There's nothing there because there was never an investigation done. Like that's what I imagine to be the truth.
Which, like, that would be the bigger problem if they were like, we did investigate ourselves when we said everything was fine. Like, that's what I think people are mostly afraid of. So therefore, I think there still is this desire to have some kind of proof. I know you said this already, but the fatigue of like, oh, it's coming, we will release it, it's on its way, but we have to do some stuff first. Like, that's wearing thin. And so part of it is you're just gambling with the trust of the people who,
Right.
I mean, you know, some people don't like Trump's administration and they don't care about this anyways, but the people who feel strongly about the Epstein case in particular, as well as some other stuff, like, to then turn around and be like, actually, it's nothing, guys, just trust me. I don't think that's satisfactory.
Well, with no admission of I was wrong either. This guy built his platform saying that there's more to this case. There's hundreds of videos of him saying, you know, there's something going on with this case. There's something going on with this case. There's something going on with the Butler case. There's something going on with the Butler case. Nothing. And
I
then-
know. At least if you really are saying, okay, Epstein really did commit suicide and all this, then say, you know what? I was wrong. After I looked into the information that we're about to release to you guys, it painted the clearer picture. I was wrong. I understand why you guys are suspicious, but just wait until we can show you this and you'll see it for yourself. But I don't know. This just is more suspicious to me.
Because this, like, even, well, there's no one else who could have done it. If you have an idea, bring it to me. When you were saying that it was suspicious and there could be other people, who did you think it was? Like,
right.
Don't you have an inkling? It's, I guess it becomes sort of frustrating that the response is like to pretend as though they never questioned the narrative on that case ever. When you were questioning it, what did you think? Chase down that lead first, because you have the support of the public to do it.
Yeah. I think, like, Melonie's response was closer to would have been, I would have perceived that as good faith.
Right.
Like, hey, I've looked at what's there. I'm going to release everything that's there. And that's all. And he could have protected his image by saying it like that too. Like, wink, wink, nod, nod. Maybe there's more there than, or there was never any investigation done. But I'm new here. I looked at the folder. I looked at everything that was there. There's nothing there. I was wrong. You know, unless there's more evidence I'm not seeing, there's nothing here. And then, like, at least then people would have been like, oh, well, they got rid of all the evidence before he got in office. You know, like,
yeah,
he
didn't have the option to do a full investigation kind of thing.
I mean, that's what I would have told him to say. If he was like, Jeremy, they got me over a barrel. I've seen this stuff, but I can't talk about it. I'd be like, well, here's what you're going to have to say. You're going to have to say, like, I was wrong. I can only look at what they have, and this is what they have. And then people are going to naturally assume that there was evidence and it got destroyed. Because we saw, where's Epstein's surveillance footage? We know famously he had thousands of cameras. Not a single video from any of that? Nothing?
That's why I think when he says, like, there's nothing, I need more of an explanation of what he means by that. Like, there's nothing because it's gone, or you reviewed all of this surveillance footage and everything was fine. Like, something doesn't, it seems like almost too dismissive. And I think I never thought we'd get Epstein stuff. It always seemed like a long shot, but to have the two people who I think were sort of the internet favorites for releasing information come out and be like, no, don't even look over here. Everything's fine. That creates another level of suspicion. Yeah.
Well, and this whole, like, look over here thing. Hey, we're going to investigate the coke. That's like number 500 on the list of things that people actually want. How about you investigate these corrupt judges? How about you investigate anybody in the New York Southern District? who allegedly withheld these files from you in the first place. Like, what the hell is going on?
And what's going on with all these missing children and stuff all the time? That's why I think we're never going to get the full truth about the Epstein stuff or the Diddy stuff and all of that, because there is, I truly believe that child trafficking and child sacrifice and things of that nature is taking place, is demonic, and we're not going to be able to see. They're not going to show us that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think we're never getting it. I think what they're trying to do is say, you're not getting it. Stop asking, and hopefully I can stack wins in other places that you'll forget this. Mm-hmm. Guys like Luke and I are never going to forget it, but most people will. If he, he's got to start bringing some of these corrupt politicians down. He's got to start doing something. If you have time to go on Fox News and do damage control for your own reputation, which is all that was. He went on Fox News because his last interview was such a disaster. People were lambasting him online. I don't care about the coke in the White House. I don't care about I know you've got nothing on the DC pipe bomb because it was probably a Fed. So even if there's just no evidence to be found. Like that's the reality. I don't understand it. But I think at this point I have taken the black pill on Epstein. We're never getting it. It was, it's just, I'm not giving him any excuses, but I just can't. When this news came out this morning, I'm like, I'm not even making a video about it. What are they? They're going to release some grainy security camera footage that shows an empty hallway. And I'm supposed to say, oh, well, case closed. They definitely didn't just change the date stamp on a footage from yesterday. Yeah. I mean, there's going to be nothing that can stop me from knowing that my own government covered up this Epstein case. Like, there's nothing, there's no amount of hand waving, there's no amount of other arrests that can happen that will get me to let this one go. Like, I'm taking the L because I'm not in a position to get at the information, But
I mean, I think they're relying on, like you said, for some people it's something that is a top priority for them, but they're relying on the fact that probably a lot of Democrats don't care, or at least, I mean, I feel like I never hear Democratic people talk about it. Maybe some left-wing people, but it's not something they care about. And then they are relying both on that the party is so loyal to Donald Trump that they get a pass, and also the other half wasn't that interested, so they'll forget about it, which that seems dishonest. It seems to go against some of the we're anti-government corruption narrative that they had for a long time. But it could work. I mean, people really could decide that this is just something that we never got an answer to. Yeah, and I've decided that I'm going to stop going hard at Dan, because I do believe Dan had the right intentions. Mm-hmm. And there is at least some percentage chance that he's telling the truth. That whatever file he got was already scrubbed. I don't believe him that there wasn't a government conspiracy. But I do believe it's entirely possible that this was scrubbed 10 years ago. And then there was never any files for him to actually discover. That's probably the middle ground where I'm the most comfortable.